Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning, everyone. So happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to everyone. And as you can see, I'm still in the house. I don't care today. I have Thursday and Friday. I probably end up going back to work tomorrow just to have something to do, to keep myself busy, to keep myself occupied. I don't feel like going anywhere today. And you know what? I usually go by my feelings, not what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I feel like doing for today, for tomorrow, for Friday, for Saturday. I don't go by what I think, I go about how I feel. And it's kind of rough when you live with your emotions. Yeah, we got some people that's very emotional on this app. Somebody misunderstood what I said yesterday in one of my videos, and they decided to, I guess, call themselves snitching on me or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna tell you something. This is a public platform. No way in the world am I gonna find out who opened their mouth. It might have been YouTube itself that did that, because you got people from YouTube that actually watch these videos and listen to them, but they have poor listening skills, very poor listening skills, no comprehension whatsoever. But I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that because I feel myself getting excited. I feel myself getting angry. Um, like I said before, I have been on these YouTube streets doing videos with no issues, no problem since 2017. All of a sudden, last year, 2023, it became an issue. Why? Because I was arguing with other people, I was fighting with other people. Um, and you know what happens when you fight with someone on these YouTube streets. Anything can happen. You know what I mean? And it's good, all is fair in love and war, right? So I decided to leave the big channel as is. I might end up going live on that big channel sometime soon. I'm not going to say when, but I know I'm going to end up going through my YouTube uh channel and just going live from off of YouTube. Right now I'm using StreamYard for this small particular channel. And I actually believed in my heart that I was moving past a lot of the stuff, a lot of the gunk I went through on my bigger channel. The stuff has not stopped. And I just can't imagine people getting it, what I said, the wrong way. A lot of people don't like to talk about certain things. And I'm starting to find out that mental illness is taboo. Mental illness is taboo in the Black community and on certain social media platforms. It's taboo to talk about these things. It's taboo. But I've said it before. I've said it before about me. I'll talk about me before I talk about anyone else on this app. I don't know anybody on this app, not personally. I know me, though. I know me inside and out. And I have talked about my mental health diagnosis. I've talked about that before. I was diagnosed with major depression, recurrent, and borderline personality disorder years ago. Years ago. People don't know what they know what major depression is, but a lot of people don't know what borderline personality disorder is. And you can look it up. You can look it up. But I'm going to explain my symptoms to you so that you will know what I'm talking about. Simply, I can't talk about that unless I can talk about what happened yesterday. Okay, simply what I did in one of my videos, I was wearing a white t shirt and one of my brims. And I think it was the Dallas Cowboy brim. Anyway, in that particular video, I was saying that I'm going to start looking around, shopping around for a tattoo artist that could actually give me tattoo sleeves. I mentioned why. I mentioned why. Okay? Because when I was young, when I was like 17 years old, I was going through a time period in my life where I was starting to act out my frustrations about my life situation just openly. Openly. That's how I got put in the hospital the first time. I went to William S. Hall in 1990. I was 17 years old. They diagnosed me with having major depression recurrent. That means I have depression. That will never live. That will never leave me. Okay, I can go to therapy for years, which I have done in the past. I have been in and out of therapy since I was 17 years old. I know what I'm talking about. I remember a couple of years ago, I was living in New York. I did the self-mutilation thing. I'm giving an example how the hospital system treats us and what the mental health industry does to us. And a lot of times when they find out that you have borderline personality disorder, they don't want to touch that. They rather deal with the major depression recurrent. They rather deal with that. They rather deal with someone that has what is that? It's my sister has it. It's the opposite of major depression recurrent. Bipolar. They rather deal with people that have bipolar or schizophrenia. They rather deal with that. Those are mental health diagnosis that to mental health doctors and therapists and social workers. And a lot of you social workers, you're on this app. You know what I'm saying is fucking true. You know what I'm saying is true. There's 3 social workers on this app that I know of, and you know what I'm telling you is the fucking truth. You know what I'm saying about borderline personality disorder. You know what I'm saying. It was a couple of years ago. I had cut myself open. I was living in New Rochelle, New York. I went to the emergency room, dripping blood all over the floor. They saw the blood. They still wanted me to type in on the keyboard. Blood pooled everywhere. The bleeding would not stop. I had did it so intensely. I thought that the bleeding was going to stop like it always did before, but it didn't stop that time. I heard a popping sound when I did it that time. I went too deep. I had to get stitches. They had to stop the bleeding. They had to clean the wound. They ended up giving me stitches. They stitched the skin. I watched them do it. Okay. Don't you know those bastards released me that same night? Oh, they transported me to another hospital, of course, but they released me the very next day. They don't hold on to us. They do a lot of patient dumping. Y'all don't know nothing about that. You don't know anything about that, but you want to judge me. You want to sit up here on your high horses, on your big thrones, and you want to judge someone like me? How dare you? When I was living in New York, and I have lived when I moved back to New York in 2005, and I left New York in 2014. Don't you know I was seeing a therapist? I was going to outpatient treatment facilities trying to address whatever issues I was going through. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all only see what you see today. Just recently, I just got out the hospital. I'm telling you, they do a bunch of patient dumping. They don't keep you like the way they used to when I was younger. And matter of fact, I didn't live my whole 20s in the so-called free world. I was in fucking prison. I was in the penitentiary. When they finally discovered that I was suffering from a mental illness, don't you know it was already fucking too late? They had me sitting on fucking lockup for 3 years and 9 months. And I remember sitting in the belly of the beast at that time. I remember my behavior. But the only thing they kept doing for me was doing cell extractions. A lot of you don't know what that is. You don't know what a cell extraction is. Maybe Lonnie knows. Maybe. I don't know if she knows what cell extraction is. I'm going to explain it to you. You just imagine you're in a lockup cell, in a lockup unit somewhere. You start banging on the door, making all kinds of noises. You're flooding out the cell. You tore up everything. You destroyed everything in the cell. So they decide to remove you out of that cell to perhaps put you in a camera cell. That's what they did. That's what they did. They send in a team, motherfuckers that got on helmets, motherfuckers that's carrying a shield, a big camera so they can videotape the cell extraction, because they have to videotape, they have to record what the fuck they do to you. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't have one little idea of what I'm talking about. Some of you do, because you've been to prison before. You know what it's like. A lot of you men, you've been to prison before. A lot of you women been to prison. I don't hear too many people telling prison stories. It's like y'all are afraid of something. Are you afraid? Are you ashamed? Because I'm not. I'm not afraid to talk about myself. I'm not ashamed to talk about myself. But a lot of you are. I've already explained about patient dumping. I already explained how we slip through the cracks of the system, especially the hospital system. I already explained. Before I moved into this apartment, don't you know I was seeing a therapist? Y'all didn't know nothing about that. You only see what you want to see. You only see what your mind can handle. And when I talk about these things, I become very emotional and I just start talking. When I did that video yesterday, YouTube immediately contacted me and they put under the video the number for a suicide hotline. I guess to encourage people that might be feeling like the way I do, or talking about what I talk about. They want to let people know, look, y'all not alone. There's help out there for y'all. You're listening to this video of this woman talking about this situation, this issue, this concern. Don't take it personally. That's the way I read it. But in a way, they was kind of like putting a label on me. I already have enough labels. I have enough labels to last me for the rest of my life. But what I'm saying is fucking true. Why you think sometimes I go to work and sometimes I don't? Ever since my job shut down, I haven't been going to work like that. I haven't. I'll go one day and not go the rest of the week. I don't give a fuck about going to work no more. Fuck work. Because the working man is a sucker and everybody knows it. I was happy doing what I was doing until the place shut down. That was an unforeseeable thing. I remember going to work that Friday because I remember Lonnie, Empress Lonnie One Love, doing a video that Friday morning, and everyone was on the panel. Everyone was talking. Me and Lonnie allowed me up. We was talking for a little bit. It was a good it was a good video that she had that day. I told Lonnie, I said, look, I gotta hang up because I have to go out and get my money. They didn't deposit my funds in my bank account. You know what I mean? They didn't deposit anything in my bank account because I wrote down my information, but there was one number missing. So they couldn't deposit. I had to go pick up the check from the job. And I did that. I went there, I picked up the check, I went to the store, I walked myself back home, I got back on the phone, I continued my conversation with Lonnie. Then later on, I hung up. Then Saturday morning came. I remember getting up that Saturday morning. I remember getting in the shower. I remember changing into my clothes. I remember putting on my new brim. I remember walking to the job. I remember the cops being outside the job, the fire department being outside the job. I remember seeing my coworkers standing across the street. So I knew something had happened. There was an electrical fire. And ever since that particular restaurant has been shut down. I was making good money with those people. I was making better money than what I'm making working for the temp service. The temp service is only paying me $12 to go out on a cleanup job. I might be inside most of the day. I might be outside all fucking day. And the last two or three times that I've been to the temp service since I've been out of work from the dishwashing job, they've always sent me on jobs that I don't feel like doing anymore. And I have a right to refuse to do that. If I don't want to do that type of work, I don't have to. Nobody's going to make me do shit. I remember when I was in prison, if I like when they finally released me from off the lockup unit, and let's say they gave me a job, and I decided, well, I don't feel like going today. You know, those motherfuckers would come, green bag my ass, and take me back to lockup. And every time they used to take me back to lockup, it was always because I spoke up for myself or I refused to do something. I couldn't bend to their will. I couldn't bend. I couldn't bend to what they wanted me to do. They couldn't break me. They had already put me on lockup. Remember, I had did almost 4 years on fucking lockup. Remember, I did almost 4 years being homeless in South Carolina. So what the fuck? I give a fuck about what anybody thinks about me. I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks, because nobody feeds me, nobody fucks me, and nobody finances me. Not on this fucking app. You don't do shit for me. But you snitch, you run around, you snitch on me, and you try to clap my big channel twice. They do all kinds of evil to you on this app, whether you know it or not. I watched them do that to another YouTuber. And the only thing that I didn't, okay, I know that people got gripes with her. I know people have some kind of Instagram against this woman. But she was moving away from all that, you know what I mean? So now when I look at her on the YouTube, and she'll start out real good. She'll play a little music, her intro music for you. She sings happy birthday to everyone. She goes out into the community. She feeds the homeless. Lately, she's been doing a lot of cooking on her channel, and she'll do something very simply like look at her chat area, and people are cursing her out. People calling her names, trolling her. Basically, they're trolling this woman. She might respond. She might not. And I think that's wrong what they're doing to her. I spoke up. I'm probably the only one that spoke up for Sister T. Nobody else did. Just like when people was mistreating Lonnie, I spoke up for Lonnie. If I like you and I know that you're not doing anything to anyone and someone is fucking with you, I'm going to speak up. I remember when those people were going after brown skinned lady, talking about roach trial and all this other bullshit. I spoke up for a brown skinned lady. I remember doing that video because it was a short video on my big channel. It was a pair of red ear, those things that go on your ears. And Birdman was in the video with me because you can hear him in the background talking. You don't see us on camera, but I'm saying what I'm saying about her, and he's up there trying to go against what I'm saying about her. He's like, Arabia, how you know that she didn't do what they said that she did? And I was like, I was there. I know she didn't have nothing to do with it. Blah, blah, blah. And he was playing music in the background. And I just got frustrated with that, and I had to end the video. But like I said, if I like you, I'm going to take up for you. I'm going to try my best. I know I'm not no lawyer. I know I'm not no lawyer, but if I think that people are mistreating you, oh yes, you better believe I'm going to say something. And I don't give a fuck who get mad. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain. I guess that's when the German Shepherd comes into the room. I am your home girl, Arabia Barbosa. 914 Westchester County, New York. I'm closing up this video. I think I explained myself good enough. I don't need to go any further. And I'm going to share this to my other social media platforms. So It is what I don't think I'm multi-streaming today. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. A shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. Peace, y'all.